Hello friends, today my topic of discussion is the theory of gaze. What is gaze? The gaze, like mirror, reflects in what aspects of looking at a person, especially women in society and culture. The theory has made critics and readers of literary works more self-aware and conscious. The focal of theory is to look at equal power relationships in our contemporary world. In critical theory, sociology, and psychoanalysis, the gaze, in the philosophical and figurative sense, is an individual's or group's awareness and perception of other individuals, other groups, or oneself. The concept and the social applications of the gaze have been defined and explained by existentialist and phenomenological philosophers. What is existentialism? Existentialism is a family of philosophical views and inquiry that prioritizes the existence of human individual, study existence from the individual's perspective, and conclude that despite the absurdity or incomprehensibility of the universe, individuals must still embrace responsibility for their actions and strive to lead authentic lives. What is phenomenology? It is a sub-discipline of psychology. It is a scientific study of subjective experiences. It is an approach to psychological subject matter that attempts to explain experiences from the point of view of the subject via the analysis of their written or spoken words. Now coming back to the gaze. Jean-Paul Sartre described the gaze or the looking at in the book Being and Nothingness, published in 1943. Michel Foucault, in the book Discipline and Punish, The Birth of the Prison, published in 1975, here he developed the concept of the gaze to illustrate the dynamics of socio-political power relations and the social dynamics of society's mechanisms of discipline. Jacques Derrida, in the book The Animal That Therefore I Am, The Animal That Therefore I Am, More Decom, published in 1997, elaborated upon the interspecies relations that exist among human beings and other animals, which are established by way of the gaze. What is spoken about gaze in psychoanalysis? In Lacanian psychoanalytic theory, the gaze is the anxious state of mind that comes with the self-awareness that one can be seen and looked at. The psychological effect upon the person subjected to the gaze is a loss of autonomy upon becoming aware that he or she is visible object. Theoretically, the gaze is linked to the mirror stage of psychological development, in which a child encountering a mirror learns that he or she has an external appearance. Lacan extrapolated the gaze and the effects of the gaze might be produced by an inanimate object, and thus person's awareness of any object can incite the self-awareness of being an object in the material world of reality. The philosophic and psychological importance of the gaze is in the meeting of the face and the gaze, because only there do people exist for one another. Now coming to the medical gaze or clinical gaze. In France, the original term was les regards médicaux. This is a term that Foucault introduces in his 1963 book, The Birth of the Clinic. It means glance, gaze, and look, which do not have the abstract connections that the world has in France. Foucault refers to the fact that it is not just the object of knowledge which is constructed, but also the knower. Clinical medicine at the end of the 18th century set much store on visibility, on looking and seeing, and on visible symptoms. In The Birth of the Clinic, published in 1963, Foucault first applied the medical gaze to describe and explain the act of looking in many ways. First, gaze as the part of the process of medical recognitions. Next, the act of looking is unequal power dynamics between doctor and patients. This act of looking is a cultural hegemony of intellectual authority that a society grants to medical knowledge and medicine men. Next, the gaze is a dehumanizing medical separation of the patient's body from the patient's person or identity. In the genealogy of medicine, knowledge about the human body, the term the medical gaze identifies the doctor's practice of objectifying the body of the patient. Body is separated by parts from his or her personal identity. In treatment of illness, intellectual and material structures of the clinic and the teaching of hospital made possible the inspection, examination and analysis of the human body. Yet the clinic was part of the socio-economic interests of power. Therefore, when the patient's body entered the field of medicine, it also entered the field of power, where the patient can be manipulated by the professional authority of the medical gaze. Now we should know the gaze and the system of medical power. In Discipline and Punish, the Birth of the Prison, Foucault develops the gaze as an apparatus of power based upon the social dynamics of power relations and the social dynamics of disciplinary mechanisms, such as surveillance and personal self-regulation as practices in prison and in school. Foucault's concepts of Panopticism, of the power-knowledge binary, and of biopower address the modes of personal self-regulation that a person practices when under surveillance, the modification of personal behavior by way of institutional surveillance. This is the end of the first part of this video, and in the second video, I will complete the concepts. Hope to see you in the next video. Thank you very much.